Welcome back to The Green Show. I am Ashok Khosla. Has the age of the green enterprise finally arrived in our country? Perhaps not fully as yet, but the signs are unmistakable. We have already paid a heavy cost for the unplanned, uncaring growth we have blindly pursued for the past 4 decades. Much damage has already been done, and more is sure to come. But we may still be able to halt the environmental and social havoc caused by our lopsided development strategies. If we don't, everyone, including ourselves, will pay the cost. If we do, all of us will have to play our part. And businesses will also quickly realize that to do so makes good economic sense. Today we bring you a story on the environmental aspects of electroplating industries. Then we have a story on a new kind of wood, an innovative substitute for timber that uses industrial waste phosphogypsum. We now journey to Karnal in Haryana, where we investigate what the Central Soil Salinity Institute is doing. And finally, we have a story on moody ions and tell you how your life is affected by the fascinating world of electrically charged particles. MC Engineering is a small-scale electroplating unit in the Okla industrial estate of Delhi. They employ 25 people and produce some 30,000 pieces each day. Recently, they installed a simple technology consisting of a tub and steel frame to eliminate chromium from their effluents. The total investment, just 5,000 rupees. Not only was this investment recouped in 15 days, but the unit actually makes a saving of 60,000 rupees per year. However, exceptions do not make rules, and speaking of rules, the electroplating industry thrives on flouting them.
Electroplating is a process in which metals are cleaned, prepared, treated and coated with corrosion-resistant materials. From bicycles and coat hangers to TV and aeroplane parts, practically every metal item we use has been through this process.
Electroplating effluent is basically a chemical effluent having toxic chemicals like heavy metals.
The metals involved in the process are chromium, zinc, nickel, cadmium, mercury, and the acids are hydrochloric and sulfuric acid. All these are chronically toxic and, if not handled carefully, hazardous for workers in factories and pollutive of the environment. Careless dumping and accidental spills contaminate the soil around the premises. Unsafe handling, storage, and transportation of chemicals causes illness from direct contact and inhalation of fumes. Both residents and workers are prone to illnesses that range from damage to reproductive systems to cancer.
किसी प्लांट कोई ऐसे हर एक नहीं है, जिंक में इतना कोई हैवी नहीं है, और इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग में भी बहुत से यूनिट ऐसे हैं जो टैंक के बीच में ही मतलब उसका इलेक्ट्रोप्लेटिंग चढ़ जाता है तो उसको बाहर नहीं फेंकना पड़ता, तो उससे काफ़ी फ़र्क पड़ता है. तो कुछ ही ऐसे प्लांट हैं जिनको ज़्यादा वाश करके बाहर पानी डालना पड़ता है, तो वही हैवी मेटल्स में आ जाता है.
Most of these electroplating industries are small scale. Some are even household enterprises employing unskilled labor. Most are clustered together, making pollution levels very high. With the workplace insufficient, inadequate ventilation, and low operational facilities, these family-owned units are death traps for the community. The water supply being inadequate and the drainage systems clogged with acids. The effluents are not treated because there's no regulatory mechanism, a lack of space for on-site collection and treatment, and no willingness to invest in pollution control devices. In several of these areas, money has been collected for common effluent treatment plants, but no one has set them up yet, as none of them are in the planned industrial area.
हर गवर्नमेंट की एजेंसी हमें दो टूक जवाब देती है कि आपका एरिया ऑथराइज नहीं. एक तो ये, दूसरा जहाँ जहाँ हमने कोशिश करी, बल्कि एक ज़मीन हमने लेके उसके ऊपर इफ्लुएंट ट्रीटमेंट का प्लांट का बोर्ड लगाया. बोर्ड लगाने के बावजूद हमने ये जो हमारे पोल्यूशन प्लांट वाले उनको लगाने के लिए दिखा दिया, उन्होंने ओके कर दिया. फिर गवर्नमेंट को लिखा, लेकिन हमारे को जब कोई जवाब नहीं आया तो हमारा बोर्ड भी उखाड़ लिया, वहाँ झुग्गियाँ पड़ गई.
The point is that if the industries are located in non-conforming areas, we should not try to have some kind of palliatives in form of pollution control and say that all right, now you are allowed to stay?
हमने खुद सरकार को इसके लिए प्रपोज किया है कि अगर गवर्नमेंट कहे हमारे को, हम आनंद पर्वत के नहीं, सारी दिल्ली के ऐसी इंडस्ट्रीज़ जिनको वो समझते हैं कि दिल्ली के बीच में कहीं भी जगह अलॉट कर दें, वो इंडस्ट्रीज़ को वहाँ शिफ्ट कर देंगे। कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, क्योंकि जहाँ ज़्यादा लोग काम करने वाले होंगे वहाँ ज़्यादा कंपटीशन होगा, वहाँ ज़्यादा कस्टमर आएगा।
Now moving them out to a conforming area again is difficult because these electroplating industries, I'm coming back to my earlier point, being job platers, it is very essential that they are close, they are in the proximity of the demand and supply market. They collect the material in the morning, electroplate them, and again give it back in the evening. Now if this market is 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers away from the industries, our fear is that the industries really may not move out to these new areas. The problem would still remain.
What we need is a land which is authorized by the government, where they can set up the common effluent treatment plant. Though the industries may be working in non-conforming areas, but if that land on which the common effluent treatment plant is to be set up, if that is regular, we have no problem.
Does the government have a policy on the electroplating sector?
And I'm a very strong supporter that there have to be industry-specific environmental standards. There are already such standards. Central Pollution Control Board has established MINAs called Minimal National Standards, which are industry-specific.
20% इंडस्ट्रीज़ की तरफ को इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा, 40% सॉफ्ट लोन है, 20% स्टेट बोर्ड देगा और 20% सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट देगी सब्सिडी। ये नई पॉलिसी के बीच में आ गया।
These common effluent treatment plants are provided grants from the government and also soft loan from the IDBI. The promoters have to raise only 20% of the investment needed. If say about 100 units can come together, it need not be that all the units are from the electroplating industry. All the tiny and small scale units in an industrial estate can come together. Electroplating units can join them even if they are away from the industrial unit, if they can transport their effluent in a tank.
These units are all almost capital free units. The investment level could have been a few thousand rupees. Now there, even if you want to install one tank, it would mean investing almost 25% of the capital installed in the main plant. Where is this capital available? Total scarcity of funds.
अब वो लोन के लिए जब जाते हैं तो वो कहते हैं SSI रजिस्ट्रेशन दो, तो वो हमारे पास है नहीं.
Bank will not give loan to individual units, but bank will give a loan to their association. If they can come together, say some 100 units, 100 small scale units come together to establish a common effluent treatment plant. That is what we want. And then there is no problem of getting loan because this is part of the World Bank line of credit operated by the IDBI.
Loans which are available today, although they are termed as soft loans, but if we see the interest rates which are charged on them, personally I wouldn't feel that they are soft loans. If you charge 15% interest rate when the commercial interest rate in the market is 16%, 18%, there is no soft loan available to it. So with such a scenario, although on paper there are schemes of funds available, in reality no small scale industry is making use of these schemes.
UNEP, or the United Nations Environment Programme, has initiated national-level cleaner production centres worldwide, and one of the groups concentrates on the metal plating industry. What has the Environment Ministry done to adopt these programs? Does the Central Pollution Control Board do anything about these clusters? What have been their achievements so far? Are their inspectors even trained to give solutions and enforce them?
That after you have created the mark, then ask the pollution control boards to clear it. That's not possible. Because there are ways of preventing such things happening.
What we are trying to propagate among the small and tiny sector is that you have to reduce waste not for environment alone but for your own profitability. What we intend doing by the waste minimization circle is a kind of a self-help, in the sense that people can come together, say in one sector. We are organizing circles in areas where one type of industries, say in sufficient numbers, are available. For example, in a place where there are a large number of electroplating units, we will ask them to come together and discuss how they can reduce waste. And we have some success stories where people have been able to reduce waste and they have been able to convert that reduction into profits.
I would still concede that waste minimization is not a 100% solution. You do need some residual pollution control. And we need to evolve effective techniques for this residual pollution control. There are techniques available worldwide. A few of them have also been developed indigenously. They need to be commercially established.
अगर आप म्युनिसिपल कॉरपोरेशन में चले जाएं तो शायद आपको कोई भी ऑफिसर ऐसा नहीं मिलेगा जिसको ये जानकारी हो कि कोई भी इंडस्ट्रीज अगर पोल्यूशन करती है तो उसके बारे में क्या करना चाहिए. They are not at all competent agency.
Nobody approaches the government when it comes to the question of adopting a better technology. Nobody approaches the government when it comes to upgrading their process technology. Every industry is capable and finds himself capable of doing it. But when it comes to environment, we don't know. You have got to do it. This dichotomy has to be removed.
Industrial associations have a major role to play in curbing pollution produced by this industry. They can assist these tiny factories by showing them ways to clean up and underwriting technical guidance by organizing soft loans and even negotiating incentives with the government. The electroplating industry employs over 2 lakh people. All of them are vulnerable and few of them have any idea of the hazards they're exposed to or their own rights. The directive principles of state policy direct the government to make provisions for securing just and humane conditions of work. Unless the government and industry collaborate, this constitutional order will merely remain on paper.
Don't knock on wood. It is becoming scarce. But the next time you touch wood, you may well have been duped by one of the many wood substitutes now coming on the market. Some of the artificial wood is so good, it is quite difficult to tell from the real thing. Others have their own distinctive textures and applications. We have seen the rice husk board, rubber tree board, bamboo mats, and now the phosphogypsum board.
Tile it, paint it, plaster it, mold it, laminate it, texture it, cover it with cloth. Phosphogypsum, an effective, eco-friendly wood substitute, and perhaps the answer to the crying need for wood substitutes in the building construction scenario. Phosphogypsum products are derived from huge industrial waste dumps such as these. This is the Coromandel fertilizers, which alone is sufficient to supply phosphogypsum for the next 10 years at the present rate of consumption. The phosphogypsum is fed at a constant rate into a dryer to remove the organic substances. Subsequently, it is dried with hot gases and treated to form a plaster, the base material for producing prefabricated gypsum building components like partition panels, ceiling boards, and gypsum plaster. These panels have a unique tongue and groove design to ensure quick and easy installation. Three panels make 1 square meter, and a laborer can erect 20 to 40 square meters in one day.
The phosphogypsum being a waste product, lying there in abundance in millions of tons, should find application by training manpower to use it as small components right there. For instance, there might be, I think, about 30 to 40 phosphogypsum plants, fertilizer plants all around the country.
They can be sawn, nailed, drilled or planed with normal carpentry tools, and they are practically incombustible. Being self-aligned, they do not require framework or structural support. Phosphogypsum ceiling boards are quick and easy to install and maintain. They can be simply placed in an aluminum runner and a simple T-section suspension system. The specially worked out groove edges ensure quick accessibility as they can be removed and fixed easily. Gypsum bonding plaster can be used to join and paste panels with each other and also to floor walls for inside wall plastering to give a smooth finish to the walls before painting. Overall, they become a versatile option as they have excellent load-bearing ability, thermal insulation, and good sound-absorbent properties. Moreover, these are termite-free and vermin-free.
Gypsum as a product is, you can mold it in any fashion you want. For example, if you want to make a nice pillar with a very curved surface and you want to give it ornate designs, these have been used extensively in east of Germany, and all the ornate work has been done on gypsum.
We decided to use QED predominantly because we found it cheaper and a faster option.
See, by itself, phosphogypsum, as I said earlier also, would be a very viable product to use in the building industry. If you're looking at the cost of the pre-produced panels as you're talking about, the panel being clad on the substructure of galvanized iron is definitely far more expensive than, say, a brick wall with plaster. It will continue to be so because you have added so many other things onto the waste product. You take in a free product, add so many damaging intermediate interests such as tax, wholesaler, profit and retailer margins and everything onto it. You made it unviable. If the same kind of taxes were added back to the brick, for instance, which does not have to go through this, then this would be more cost effective. You are neutralizing the effectivity of using gypsum by the taxation structure that you have on the entire industry, and also by making it an industrial product in the first place, whereas it should have been a cottage industry product.
The outbreak of one epidemic brought the thriving business life of Surat to a dead stop. Hundreds of lives gone, thousands of man-days lost, and millions of rupees spent on emergency medical relief. Did it have to happen? Medical experts seem to be convinced that it did not. All that misery and the dreadful waste could have been avoided had there been effective systems in the city for managing its garbage and sewage. With our cities putting literally trillions of liters of untreated sewage into the rivers, similar calamities elsewhere cannot be ruled out. As our urban population grows, we need cheaper and better methods for treating sewage.
Can wastewater from cities be turned from a dangerous nuisance that pollutes drinking waters, increases mosquitoes, and fouls the land into an economic asset? Quite easily. And the government saves money too. Increasing urbanization and industrialization has led to a major problem of safe disposal of sewage and industrial effluents. Class 1 cities generate 12,145 million litres of wastewater per day. And since most do not have treatment plants, this water is discharged into water bodies and on both agricultural and urban lands, spreading contamination and reducing the fresh water available. The capital cost of a treatment plant is high, and its operational costs even higher, making it too expensive for municipalities. As a result, only 38% wastewater gets even primary treatment in metropolitan cities. The demand for greenery and biomass has increased in urban areas. Consequently, the Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, CSSRI, research has come up with a way in which wastewater can be used for growing trees for greening wastelands and bringing money into the municipality or company.
This indigenous technology makes the disposal of sewage and industrial effluent safe and cheap, improving the city's water situation and health. Trees are grown on carefully designed ridges and furrows through which the untreated sewage water flows. Trees that grow fast absorb high amounts of water and release it into the air, absorbing the nutrients that wastewater carries. The species of trees differ according to the area, but in general, scientists have found that the eucalyptus has the highest capacity to take in water and is therefore an effective biodrain suitable for small areas with a large mass of sewage. Combinations of eucalyptus and poplar, shisham, acacia, and subabul are also used. About 2,500 plants are required and survival is around 80%. Through this technique, it is possible for 1 hectare to treat up to 1 million litres per day, enough for a community of 1,000 homes. Certainly, it is the most effective way for large villages and towns. There is no standing water for mosquitoes to breed, nor foul smell. The cost per hectare for the Durgapur project works out to 5,000 rupees per hectare, but it can increase if fencing and pumps are used for lifting the wastewater. These lush trees can be cut down and sold, bringing the municipality or entrepreneur 70,000 rupees a year per hectare. For industries like tanneries, thermal plants, textiles and dairies, this system is particularly effective. Industrial townships like Durgapur in West Bengal, Hisar, Buxar, Rajpipla, Ujjain, Varanasi, Panipat and Faridabad are using this for their wastewater disposal. This technique is also cost-effective. The project proposal prepared for 80 towns of Haryana has estimated income generation to the tune of 8.56 million rupees annually against a maintenance cost of 8.29 million rupees. Ideal for private sugarcane and liquor plants or just about any industrial conglomeration, this environmentally friendly technique can provide green belts around the area, cleaning the air pollution and reducing groundwater pollution.
When you are down and feeling low at work, and you know it's not a case of heartbreak, then it could be that there is literally something in the air. Your moody blues could be due to the positive ions around you. Ions in the atmosphere actually have the capability to charge and discharge you. It has been found that if your workplace has the right balance of ions, chances of depression are greatly reduced. Unless, of course, there is something else on your mind or in your heart.
Do you complain that your office makes you tired, tense, irritable, anxious, oppressed or depressed? It may have nothing to do with the stress of your job. It may simply be the items in your office that are making you ill. Ions are positively and negatively charged molecules. Air that is charged with positive ions has a negative effect on our health. Air full of negative ions has a positive effect on our health. In unpolluted places, the air contains from 1,000 to 2,000 ions per cubic centimeter in a ratio of 5 positive to 4 negative, which is the ideal proportion for a feeling of general well-being. When this balance is upset, then so is your physical and mental health. Many common items in the office generate positive ions. Electric bars and fan heaters made with nickel-chromium wire elements, electric equipment, stereo equipment, synthetic fabrics, TV and video screens, and synthetic wall-to-wall carpeting, artificial heating, and air conditioning. For instance, if you have an office with a wall-to-wall carpeting, rayon curtains, a computer that is permanently on, and an air conditioner or a central air conditioning system, you're living in a death trap of positive ions. The human nervous system is extremely sensitive to ion changes in the atmosphere. For example, before a thunderstorm, the air is heavy with positive ions and you feel depressed and anxious. After the storm, lightning and rain will have produced higher levels of negative ions. You'll feel lighter, something you put down to the world looking fresher and cleaner. Some hot and dry winds carry a large number of positive ions, and suicide rates are highest at this time. In nature, negative ions are manufactured by rain, lightning, sunshine, air currents, and the breaking up of water. But they have a short lifespan and have to be manufactured constantly. The best way to do this in an office is to have an ionizer which releases thousands of negatively charged ions into the air every second, cleaning positively charged dust, smoke, and airborne pollutants by making them heavier and making them sink. A natural alternative to the ionizer is the torch cactus, which should be placed next to a TV screen or any electronic equipment. A high level of negative ions at your workplace increases your body's capacity to absorb oxygen. People who work with smokers benefit from the ionizer's ability to decrease smoke levels in the air. Infections can also be reduced because the bacteria that travel in the airborne dust particles sink to the ground, pushed down by the negative ions. You could also remove the wall-to-wall carpet and synthetic curtains and replace them with cotton dharis and drapes. Just rearranging the ions in your office might suddenly make you feel better about your job.
We know that solutions to environmental problems will not just emerge free out of thin air. Someone will have to pay, and that someone must now be the polluter. One thing we are realizing is that the market has failed to assign the true social and environmental costs of industrial pollution. As a result, society has been forced to pick up the tab. We have to change this. We look forward to hearing from you on the thoughts you have to save the earth and to sustain it.